Yo, life is not a matter of holding good cards, not having a good hand, but it's about playing a poor hand well. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us is coming into circumstances where we got a really poor hand. We feel like life is just handing us all the crappy cards and nothing is going our way, right? We all felt like that, or we have experienced something like that at one point in time. But how do we get around that? How do we deal with that? We got to take the hands that we dealt and play them the best way possible. We can't be falling into the traps of life. You know what I'm saying? We got to set ourselves up for success. And how do we do that? We got to study success. If we want happiness, we got to study happiness. We got to look at history and see the patterns of history, man. I've been doing Forex and studying Forex, and that's kind of similar setup to life is that to learn Forex, you got to study the history of the patterns of the charts, right? So we got to study at what happened in the past to dictate, kind of get an idea of what's going to happen in the future. And that's what we could do with our life. And we can use other people's lives as that kind of blueprint and that cheat sheet to dictate our life. If we see somebody drinking and driving and this person died, this person died, this person died, okay, the probability is a little bit higher that if I drink and I drive, it's a good chance that I could die. You know what I'm saying? Don't mean every time you drink and drive you will die, but you're increasing the probability of what will happen to you from history. You know what I'm saying? It's proven results. You know what I'm saying? So that's the terms like why we have recipes. So if you want to get grandma's soul food recipe or a soul food taste, you got to follow grandma's recipe. And we go get the recipe, we apply the recipe. Don't mean it's going to turn exactly how she made it, but we're going to get closer to it. We upping our probability of success to get closer to what we're trying to achieve. So we have to study, we have to apply what we learn, and we have to adjust if we're not at the results that we want. We cannot keep giving up on ourselves. We got to stay consistent with what we're doing and just make small adjustments until we get the desired result. And in the start of 2020, man, I started it out with getting my car stolen, right? Not the ideal situation to come into the new year, because you start a new year thinking like it's going to be better than the last year, the previous year, but to start it off with negative, you know what I'm saying? That's like being dealt a poor hand. How did I play off that hand makes the difference on how the year ends and how the next year starts. So everything we do from here makes a huge difference, man. Whatever I want to be different, whatever you want to be different, we got to take necessary steps in order to ensure that we get the results that we want. So studying, applying what we study, and repeating and adjusting things, you know, to make sure we get in the results that we want. A lot of times we don't do that. We nip ourselves in the butt. We say we got to do this. 2021 finna be the best year, and then we procrastinate once 2002 opens up the curtains for us to show what we made of. You know what I'm saying? We procrastinate. We say, okay, next month, the month after this, tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? We never do now. Tomorrow's not promised. So what you gonna do when this was your only opportunity to kind of put a stamp on your legacy? You know what I'm saying? To put a stamp on how you will be remembered, to put a stamp on your bucket list, to check things off for the things that you wanted to do with the time that you have. You know what I'm saying? So we got to really zone in. We got to really focus in, get our ego as sharp as it can be, and know what we want. Really say it out, write it down. What exactly do you want out of life with this opportunity that we got? Because life is about experience. What are you experiencing besides pain and suffering and misery and negativity and stress and depression and debt? You know what I'm saying? What are the areas that you can increase in your life, like your health and your wellness, your mental stability, your financial stability, you know, your relationship stability? You know what I'm saying? What can you do to increase these things, to elevate these things, to rise above, you know what I'm saying, where you're currently at? That's what we got to constantly focus on. We got to drive ourselves to be the person that we can be, reach our potential, reach our greatness, reach our godliness. You know what I'm saying? They say we are made in the image of God, but we got to strive to be like the image. You feel me? Like our higher selves, our energy levels got to be risen. Our vibrations got to be risen. We can't be staying at these lower frequencies and hanging around people who don't think deeper, who don't think farther, who don't think like, you know, outside the box, you know, because tradition kind of kills us. It traps us in. We got to escape tradition and start discovering, you know what I'm saying, who we are, what we are, why we are. You know, ask why, you know. Don't get trapped in no box, bro. Don't get trapped in a box of stress, depression, debt, all this stuff, illness. You know, start discovering who you are at the highest level and start keep climbing that ladder one day at a time, one day at a time. And eventually you're going to get to a point where it's like there's no limits to what you can achieve, what you can accomplish, what you can do, what you can believe in, how happy you can be, how successful you can be. Once you got money out the way, what else is there? You know what I'm saying? You got to still find things to keep you happy, because money ain't everything, but it's something that needs to be accomplished, that needs to be put into place. So we got to keep striving. No days off until it pay off. A day off is a day lost. Put ourselves in positions to win, man. You already know, man. Bossland, better ourselves successfully, learn, achieve, never discourage. Let's go into 2020 with a sharp mind, because anything can happen. You already know from 2020, you know, anything can happen. Coronavirus, all these deaths and all these wars and protests and destruction, you know, that's the devil's work. So we got to start thinking a little bit differently, a little bit more strategically, and plan ahead, go off of history and go into 2021 prepared. Let's get it, man. No days off, no limits, no excuses. Let's get it.